Well, as it turns out, the reason that it was taking so long is actually because I didn't notice it at first, but there was an error message on the Synology Assistant that said, failed to partition hard drive. I tried a couple times, gave me the same message. I thought maybe, okay, I just ordered 4 hard drives, you know, the higher the hard drive, the higher the space in the hard drive, more likelihood there's a bad hard drive. So I opened the box, switched 2 of the hard drives, what I assumed was the first one with a different one. So tried again, same thing. I went to the Synology forum and Googled and searched for the exact error message I was getting. Turns out some of the hard drives have issues because they're 3 terabytes because of the difference between the MBR and the GUID partitioning schemes. So I had to use basically a hard drive smaller than 3 terabytes to initially install it. Then I could go back and with the new firmware, I could put in the 3 terabyte hard drives. After searching far and wide, I decided to end up just cannibalizing the hard drive for one of my my netbook, an old Asus EPC I don't use anymore. So I have this tiny little 2.5-inch 160 gig hard drive that I'm about to attempt to install. I don't know if there's actually a difference in which goes where, but I got that little tiny hard drive in there now. And now let's see what happens when we actually put all this crap back together. So, put the lid on. I'm getting very good at disassembling this box, I will say. I've done it like 6 times. Okay. Let's slip into place. There we go. Alright, get that cord out of the way. Close that. Let's put our thumb screws back in. While I'm putting these in, I will say I have yet to figure out what that cord holder's for, because no cords really seem to be where they'd go into it. Obviously the power cord is too big, you can see it there, and the Ethernet cord is obviously not going to fit into that tiny little, hole right there. I suppose if you had a USB cable going through the area, it might be small enough to fit in there, but even that, honestly, I think would probably be too big. We got all 4 of the thumb screws back in, so let's try again. Pop the Ethernet cord back in, pop the power plug back there, and turn it on again. Maybe. Maybe not. Make sure that's in there securely. See any reason why it wouldn't be turning on here. Oh, there we go. Okay. Probably just wasn't on there securely. Okay. And that will do its thing. We will go back over here. See the regular hard drive stacked there. And do another search for this here. See what happens. Doesn't have any options on it yet. This thing is still booting up. Now that I've had to boot it up about 3 or 4 times, I can tell you that if the status light blinks orange, it indicates something's not ready. Could be a crashed partition, could be the lack of DSM installed on the NAS, which is what it is in my case, of course, since I have yet to complete the installation progress. Could be a corrupted system partition, a variety of things that I read on the Synology website. And that is the blinking orange light I was talking about. Registers 1 hard drive installed, and that should mean if I search again, it should give me the option cancel. If I search again now, it should give me the option to go in and reinstall. It's not for some reason. We'll just close out of the Synology Assistant, go back to the desktop, open it up again. There we go. install, path of installation file, it's in downloads, find the PAT file, go to complete setup, type in the name, media, server, NAS, next, hold a moment while I type in the admin password, stick to DHCP for the time being, Central Time, all that crap's correct, alright, finish. Now, this is the part that messed up last time, where I said formatting system partition. This didn't even get this far, just at 1% it hung for a moment, then it would say failed to partition hard drive. So I assume this is a good sign. Hopefully this won't take too long since this is a tiny little 160 gig hard drive. And it says that it takes longer depending on how big the thing is. Okay, yeah, this is going pretty quickly. While this is going, I'll say that the reason I picked the 5400 RPM hard drives as opposed to 7200 is based on just a few small reasons. One is, of course, that they run cooler, which is very important in a NAS. You don't want to overheat your system because, like I said before, vibration and heat are the two big killers of hard drives, and heat is pretty manageable with a 5400 RPM as opposed to a 7200. Also, the cost is significantly lower than them. I think I would have gone up at least $30 to $50 per hard drive had I gone with 7200, if not even more. Because I think they were $180 or $190 for the same brand, the Hitachi's, just the 7200 Desk Stars. And you know, the other reason is, you know, because they run slower, they have theoretically slower bit rates. But from everything I've read, the bottlenecks on a NAS are typically the processor or the network far before you get to hard drive read-write speeds. So, not super concerned about that. The hard drives write plenty fast enough to take care of that. And there may have been one other reason I don't. Oh, noise. I guess that's another potential thing. If it's going to spin slower, it's going to make less noise. Okay, it made it through that. So it's formatted the hard drive. What it's doing now is, if you can read that, is it's actually installing the DSM, the Disk Station Manager, which is Synology's operating system, basically, that they use on their NAS. And it's going to go through and install this. This is taking a little bit. Oh no, okay, it's jumping in big chunks, so that won't take too long. Now notice that it's skipping this thing here where it says formatted data partition. From what I understand, that'll be done later, and for me, I probably won't even really bother on this small hard drive. I'll probably wait till after I get the firmware updated, put the 3 terabyte ones back in, and then cross my fingers and hope it actually works that time. Because theoretically, then I won't need to reinstall the DSM. I should just be able to create a data partition. Though I'm not entirely sure how that works, given that I'm installing this on the small one, but everything I've read on their website says do that. So I may even have it pulled up here. Show you that. Yeah, on the Hitachi 3 terabytes, if you can read that, it says upgrade DSM to 3.1 blah 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 before installing this drive. And here's someone who got the exact same error as me on their forums just about 3 weeks ago. Mike1234 said, Synology tech support helped me to resolve the issue. I installed a spare 1.5 terabyte drive into the DS410, installed the software, I then removed it and installed my 3 terabyte Western Digital drives. So that should be the exact same thing I do. I will remove the Hitachi, or the little 2.5 inch netbook drive, throw all 4 of the Hitachi 3 terabytes in there, and see what happens. This looks like it's taking a little while, and I'm approaching 10 minutes on this particular recording, so I'll just stop this, and then... Oh, no, never mind. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to because of the time limit anyway. But it now says system is rebooting and has a countdown. So I'll come back up when I'm to the next stage. It seems to have rebooted now. The Synology Assistant has changed to saying writing configurations. The box went through a decently long reboot and is now doing other things, still flashing orange on status. hard disk drive 1 still sitting there. This seems to be going fairly quickly. We'll see what happens here in a moment. But I did read a few things online about 7200 RPM hard drives that indicated that it might be better to use them if you had a higher end NAS. Mine is the DS410, and it has about, I think, a 1.06 gigahertz single core processor, if I believe, and it does have a floating point processor separately, but it is not exactly a beast when it comes to processing power. Some of the people that said 7200 versus 5200 actually, or 5400 made a difference for them were people who had, say, the DS1511 Plus, which is about almost twice as expensive, and it has a 1.8 gigahertz dual core processor in it. Clearly that's going to be a little bit faster than the thing I'm running in here. Okay, it says system has been installed successfully, setup is complete, you may now log in your server via Synology Assistant. So, close that. Okay, now, connect. So cool, that's connection. I'm assuming this is going to be admin, and then I will type my password. Logging in. Oh, very nice. Okay, we've got this. You see, this is the web application that I read about online. That I saw they have a demo of it on their site, a live demo you can try that actually is running on a NAS they have publicly shared. It's basically, it feels very much like a GNOME, or yeah, I'd say more GNOME than KDE, but really, I mean, it basically is just a Linux, like a very small Linux kernel here, and it allows you to do different things. So it gives you options: set up volumes, create a user, access files, discover more applications. I'm going to close that for the time being. And memory test, no, I don't need to do that right now. I guess now, if what this forum said was correct, I can remove the 2.5 inch drive and put the Western Digital, or put the Hitachi 3 terabytes in and see what happens. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back in a moment. Oh, I'll show you how I've been shutting this thing down. This may not be correct, but I've not come up with a better way to do it, and Googling found nothing. You hold it for a moment, it beeps at you angrily, beeps, or flashes several more times on the power button in addition to other lights, and then eventually goes, waiting. There you go. Okay, so that's what happened. So I will be back when I've got the other hard drives in.